I think I converged on the idea of being a scientist fairly early on. We took a family trip to South Africa in 1998. We went to Kruger National Park, and I recently found an old notebook where I was counting all of the antelopes that many people find quite boring. I was interested and engaged with the natural world. I was just really excited about it. I'm an ecologist of plants broadly, but more specifically, I study savanna ecosystems. Savanna ecosystems are where trees and grass occur together. Most of the fires that burn on Earth, by a very large margin, are savanna fires. They have a large contribution to the global carbon cycle. Fires take carbon from the biosphere, or from essentially carbon that's stored in plants, and move it into the atmosphere. And so if we're going to predict dynamics of the global carbon cycle accurately, including our fossil fuel contributions to atmospheric CO2, we also need to get a better handle on fire contributions to the global carbon cycle. And by far the biggest contributor to that are savanna fires. I use a lot of different techniques in doing my science. We do a lot of remote sensing of the environment, essentially data that are derived either from airplanes or from satellites, increasingly from drones. You essentially fly a drone over a fixed plot, and then you start a fire, and you watch the fire spread across the plot, and you concurrently record wind speed, you record air temperature, you record air humidity. Filming the fire allows you to quantify how fire behavior changes in response to changing weather conditions. We actually started in excess of 1,100 experimental fires across savannas and a variety of ecosystems. We're really interested in the question of what extinguishes fires. Something that stops a fire is a really important determinant of how big a fire gets and how much area it's going to burn. Most fire ecologists will tell you that they know why fires go out. It's for a variety of reasons, but why fires go out is not quantitatively very well understood by anybody in any ecosystem. The most surprising thing that we learned is that you can burn much wetter grass than you would think. There could be as much water as grass, and it still burns perfectly fine, which is not what people typically assume. And the way that that happens is that as long as you can get the fire started, the heat that that fire generates causes a lot of the water downstream from the fire front to evaporate, and then the fire becomes self-sustaining. That probably allows fires to get bigger than we currently think that they do under wetter circumstances. But it could also interact with things like emissions factors. Wet fires tend to be smokier fires that emit different atmospheric byproducts, and so it could change some of the downstream estimates that we make of what the impacts of fires actually are. There's a lot to know and there's a lot to study, and what we know constitutes just a drop in the bucket of what we should or need to know.